It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
It's Saturday morning. Woo!
Hi, Steve.
Good morning. You all caffeinated, ready to go?
Absolutely.
By caffeinated, you mean drunk, right?
Sure. Morning drunk works too. Yes. Yes. I haven't created I've got my closing tagline. I've got my Hondo. I don't have my, and a very fine Saturday morning to you. Or what is Andy's? It's all Irish. A top of the morning.
Nobody knows what he says anymore.
I don't have those things. So I just come in loud and proud on a Saturday morning.
You sound great.
I hope so. I've been tweaking the microphone to make sure it meets all of Pete's quality standards.
But I become the bad guy.
You're not the bad guy. You're the quality control.
Corporate.
Quality control guy is always the bad. Corporate?
No.
That's what I call you.
God. Anybody have any movie stuff to talk about?
There's all the movie stuff, right? Because everybody's ramping up for the Oscars coming up in, 10 days?
April 25th, right?
10 days?
Yeah, you got to cram in all those movies, Pete. Andy's like watching every single thing ever because he's in that special time zone that allows him to watch 10 hours of movies in 90 minutes or whatever he does.
I feel like it's sacrilege, but I should remind the universe that I generally respond poorly to the Oscars. I don't like them. I don't care for them.
You don't care for the process?
I don't. All of it.
You're disappointed because your favorites always lose?
We
always get Green Books.
Last year, we got Green Booked. Steve, the last time I had any hope for the Oscars, we got Green Booked, and I feel terrible about that. It's the process, it's the pomp and circumstance, everything just generally rubs me the wrong way. So I'm going into this 10-day period of, I think I'm going to be sour. I'm trying to mitigate that by drinking more and watching a lot of cartoons. And those two things you might think don't go together, they go great. And one of the cartoons that I'm watching that I want to talk to you about is Invincible. Do you know anything about Invincible?
What do you think?
All right.
Please tell us about Invincible.
So Invincible is I think they released 100 episodes of this comic book. It was a Robert Kirkman of The Walking Dead. This was his non-Walking Dead thing that he released. And it is about a superhero and a young boy who gets his powers, and his dad is like the Superman character, and there's all these kind of stuff. And it's definitely a different take on it. If you imagine anything that you can imagine in The Walking Dead, but then imagine superheroes doing it to each other. And it's surprisingly violent and a lovely art. And I love reading the books. Well, Amazon picked it up, and they're doing a series. And let me just tell you one moment about the cast. This is creators, obviously Robert Kirkman's still on producing, stars Stephen Yeun, as the main young character in Invincible.
Okay.
We like Stephen Yeun a lot. Sandra Oh is his mother. She's amazing. J.K. Simmons is the dad, Superman. He's amazing. Also, he's drawn, like the original art was drawn to look like an incredibly, like obscenely muscular J.K. Simmons. It's incredible that he exists. Like clearly this is a thing that Zazie Beetz, Gray Griffin, Kevin Michael Richardson, Walton Goggins, Gillian Jacobs, Jason Mantzoukas. This cast is...
You're not allowed to make a project without Jason Mantzoukas now.
Well, that's true. No. That's true. Right. And he'll always do. Even in comic form, in cartoon form, you can see his eyes get real big. And he's
such range.
Yeah. No, he's incredible.
That guy.
It is. And of course, Mark Hamill. Who again is one of the great science fiction voice actors of all time. So Clancy Brown, Seth Rogen, it's just got an incredible voice cast, and they're just up to about episode, I don't know, I think just today, episode 6 dropped on Amazon Prime. So if you're interested in a very much adult-friendly comic property, this one is, I've really been enjoying it. It's very twisty. They're fixing some problems with the original books that I think, and they admit we're fixing some problems that we did with the original book, and the narrative is really fun. I've had a great time watching these kids beat the crap out of each other.
So Amazon's trying to corner the market on the dark, ultra-violent superhero
Yeah, because they already have
right?
The Boys, right?
Right,
Yeah, of
yes,
course,
yeah.
which has been really fun. Mandy, you're big on The Boys?
My husband watches The Boys. But not me.
Not with you? You're not like even just on your phone?
I don't do any superheroes or anything fantastical.
That's all right. It's all right. It's okay. We can talk about other stuff.
I know. I got it.
So anyway, Steve, I look forward to your fair report.
You're assuming I have time for that. That's TV series. It's so tough because there's so much. I'm already at the point where I am looking at all my streaming services and I'm saying, I think you got to go. I think that I'm going to have to take this one off for a while and take this one off for a while so I'm like very close to like Apple Plus. You're not doing a whole lot for me. Yes, I can get Paramount Plus and Showtime bundle through you and all of that, but what have you done? I've got to watch the Wolfwalkers, which is Oscar nominated.
Beautiful.
That's why I'm keeping it. I have to watch that. And I thought, then I can let it go for a while. And then what do they release? They release a Mythic Quest Season 2 trailer, which I haven't watched yet. Because I know it's going to be awesome. It's so
funny.
Yeah. Yes.
So funny. What a gem of a show. That and Ted Lasso. I mean, talk about shining stars of Apple TV Plus. It's they're just joyful and
everyone
funny.
That I know.
Morning show, right?
Show
is fantastic.
Yeah, but it's sporadic. It comes in fits and spurts. They haven't mastered this. This series ends in another week or two. We've got something else. That's what Disney's got going
Disney's
on with
their locked.
Yes. Exactly.
For me, they keep giving me free Apple TV Plus because I got it originally.
Because you're hooked on the product.
I keep buying the product. Thing. That's exactly right.
You've got the eye slippers in the background there, don't you?
I do. Because I keep buying stuff, they keep giving me the credit. I can't cancel. This is it's the Godfather 3 of streaming services.
Yes, they're like, oh, Pete, subscription's about to expire. Drop the next gen laptops.
Yeah,
there we go. There we go. Yes.
God, exactly. I'm such a chump.
Okay. So speaking of gadgets, this isn't an article that I was considering putting it in here, but did you hear about the rumored Disney real lightsabers?
Okay. I refused to read the article because I thought this is clickbait.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. So what is the real lightsaber?
Well, they don't know because there was no photography, no video, anything. One person has a theory, and basically what they think is it's the fact that it's retractable. So imagine, your tape measure and you take it out and you can lock it and then you can click that button and it comes back in. They've got a mechanism to goes out, it comes back in.
It all sounds like a porn euphemism, I have to be honest.
It sure does. This is very dirty.
So that's
my retractable lightsaber.
Yes. It's retractable, which again, it's pure speculation. And then people say, well, that's great, but you still can't fight with these things. So what's the use? I thought, well, it's Disney. It's going to look good. It's going to light up and it's going to go up and it's going to go down and people will be excited for that. So
sadly American take on new retractable lightsabers, but you can't fight with them yet. So what's
right?
The point?
Exactly. I can't sever hands with it. What good is this thing? Yes.
We're in trouble.
But Disney did redeem themselves with this new thing called Launchpad that they have going on, which is, I was very excited to see this. Disney is really going all in on hitting. Okay. And I know there's people out there that are going to say, yeah, it's just for the money. Yes, they're a business. They're going to do everything they can to make money, but they're focusing they're doing 6 short films in this Launchpad. And the idea is getting stories from voices that are not seen and heard out there. So they have 6 films that are going to be launching on Disney Plus May 28th, focusing on these different writers' stories. So we've got a story about a homesick Muslim Pakistani immigrant who wakes up, finds she has to go to school on a holiday. We've got a Chinese student uncovering his true identity while trying out for a leadership role at a U.S. school. We've got a Mexican-American half-human, half-vampire teenager struggling to fit into either world.
That's a ringer right there.
Right
yes.
there.
Yeah, right.
But that's, might I interject, Steve?
No.
Because
of course.
That's fascinating. And you're taking somebody from a different point of view and a different ethnicity, and they're writing a universal tale of, it's an allegory. It's not so straightforward. And that intrigues me a lot more. And not that I'm not open to watching these stories of people of other ethnic backgrounds. That's fantastic. But how exciting to not just make it a Mexican person, a Mexican American is struggling with their ethnic identity.
Right.
But to make it a half vampire. I think that's really cool.
It's super
next
cool.
Level.
It is. And I think that it's things like that where I think often it's like this voice isn't heard and they'll tell a story that's for their specific audience. And that allows the larger, wider community to say, oh, well, we'll push that to the side. That's their thing. We don't have to pay attention to this. Something more universal with this of teens just struggling with identity and what that means brings it in to a broader audience. And I think, yes, we're going to see hopefully more things like that. This is phase one. They're I guess, beginning of May, they're taking applications for the second round of these Launchpad films. And I just love what Disney's doing with Disney Plus with this, with the Spark shorts where animators sort of get to, do their little passion projects. They get released there. It's a great hub for entertainment that you normally don't see in the theater. You don't often see shorts, things like that, and you can find it all there on Disney Plus. This is not a sales pitch for Disney Plus, but I love the fact that it's hitting multiple markets in different formats.
Right.
Yeah, and
it's exciting.
It is exciting, and let's just be clear: Disney Plus is not the service you're canceling.
No. No, it's Apple because,
We love Disney. They are everywhere, you guys.
They are they're actually on this podcast. You just they're a silent partner. I think it's really great. It's the same joy that you get in watching a movie like White Tiger, right? Which is telling like there is a wonderful bit of universality in that struggle in that story, and I think it's those are the kinds of things I'm really interested in. To Mandy's point, I think that's a really great point. That it's not just another story about how hard it is to be who you are. I love those stories, but also it's why I love Wolfwalkers, right? I mean, that's a wholly different perspective that is yet somehow universal. So I think
it reminds me of way back when at the Phoenix Film Festival here they were showing Akilah and the Bee because the director was local, grew up here. Lawrence Fishburne's character was inspired by his high school teacher. And people were asking him, what motivated you to write the story? And he said, well, as, growing up, white kid in the suburbs, he's like, you watch movies and everything happens to people like you. E.T. lands in your backyard. You get to go to Hogwarts. And his wife is African-American. He said, nobody tells stories about them. And so that was their project to make a story for young African-American girls because they never see themselves as the hero in stories. And it's things like that. And that was how many years ago,
right?
We don't get enough of those. So Launchpad, bringing it, making it broader. Love it. Anything else exciting that we need to talk about? Anything that may be thundering on the horizon?
Redemptive. This is redemptive, Steve. I don't know if you remember. It was a bit ago. I brought Thunder Force as my trailer pick for this show. And we talked about Thunder Force on this show. And I was quite dubious about the experience of Thunder Force. And now, today, I had the incredible pleasure of editing the latest Mandemic Mondays episode where Mandy and Mandy
raved about.
Well, they talked about Thunder Force, and I learned a lot of incredible lessons out of that episode, and I hope that Mandy will share them. Some of them is a little teaser here. When episode drops on Monday. But the biggest question I have for Mandy is, after watching the trailer, how did you not see the train wreck actually coming?
I did see it. Limited in what Mandy and I can watch on Netflix every week. This was our option.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
We knew
this was a hostage situation.
Yeah, we knew going in.
All right.
Yeah.
So what did you think? Briefly.
This was very briefly. For those who don't listen to Mandemic Mondays, Mandy and I disagree on nearly everything. This was a rare kumbaya, we are the world moment, and we came together in our pure hatred of this film and of everyone involved.
Oh, it's rough.
It's really... You watched it?
Yeah. I did.
Oh, Pete.
I wanted to watch it. This is my experience of editing shows for you. Is now I have to watch the movies before you spoil them.
You watched it after you heard us eviscerate it?
No. I watched it before because I wanted to be ready. I wanted to be ready for what was to come. And
it's a comedy with no laughs.
There were no laughs.
Is what they achieved.
Oh, that is that the tagline? Thunder Force, comedy with no laughs.
Thundering silence is what it is. It is. It was a stunning spectacle of, I guess. I guess it was an ego film. I guess it was.
Was it a Netflix just gave us money and we were like, yeah, we'll do whatever we want type of thing?
Yeah. Well, her husband wrote and directed.
Steve, it was a Ben Falcone experience.
Okay,
we know. We get
it's okay, honey. I'll get some money. You can make this movie.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And these are the things that, like, we've all done this. You're at a dinner party. You're like, oh my God, you guys, you know what would be hilarious?
Yeah.
A movie about two ladies, middle-aged ladies fighting. No, it'll be hilarious. And everybody starts spitballing. But then the next day, everybody wakes up and realizes, woo, we were drunk. That wasn't funny.
Yeah. You know what? You know what? When we were laughing about the plus-size ladies driving a Lamborghini, those jokes sure were funny last night when we were hammered. Mm-hmm. They're not anymore.
And they just become private jokes between you and whoever was at that dinner party, and no one gets hurt. When you are Melissa McCarthy and Ben Falcone, you make that movie, and innocent people like myself, get hurt in the process.
Can we? I'd like to talk about Thunder Force adjacent topic, which has come up in my house lately, which is the incredible crushing on Jason Bateman that is still going on in this country. Can you comment on the universal love of Jason Bateman?
I sure can, Pete. And I'd like to say, really early adapter, Silver Spoons.
Very early.
Personal reveal. My two best friends, Tara and Jenny, we would play Silver Spoon's girlfriends when we were like 8 or 9 years old. Oh. And I, even though I loved Ricky Schroeder, was like, I want to be Derek's girlfriend, which tells you a lot about my psyche because he was a son of a bitch, even at 11. He was awful. But I had a thing for Jason Bateman on Silver Spoons. And it has lasted. It has burned bright all these years.
Through the Bluth years, even the darkest Bluth year,
especially
the final Bluth year.
Well, I didn't watch that, but especially the Bluth years. He is so good at his dry, deadpan, under the breath commentary.
Yes.
He's a genius at it, and he's really cute, and he's got a full head of hair. Don't get me started. Yeah. Can I have a minute?
I'm going to turn my attention to Steve now. Steve, this week what happened, my wife was in a meeting with her leadership team of her company, and it's a women-owned business. I don't think there were any men in the room. And she jumped in late, and they were talking about Jason Bateman. And my wife says, I'm sorry, Justin who now? And they eviscerated her. And that turned very quickly against me because now they very, very openly believe that I have been hiding Jason Bateman from my wife because I feel inferior to him, this actor I have never met.
He's threatened. You're threatened.
I am
by Jason
apparently
Bateman.
threatened by Jason Bateman.
As you should be.
Oh, Mandy.
Look, Pete, you know I adore you. You are no Jason Bateman.
There is a line. I get it. There's a line. It must be drawn somewhere.
Yeah, he's not on your best friends that you haven't met yet list. That's the problem.
You know what the thing is? He actually is. Until I did read that he was kind of a jerk on the Bluth set when there was the whole thing with what's his name being angry and abusive on set, and he didn't come out, and there was this controversy, and I was like, maybe he shouldn't be. He should at least be knocked down a peg on my list of best friends I haven't met yet.
Yeah.
It doesn't make him any less cute. And in this movie, in fact, I would like to retract one thing. There is a laugh. There is a laugh in this movie, and I felt it. And it is when they go out on a date. Because I don't know, Steve, if you remember the trailer, he actually it has crab arms, right? Or he's got claws and arms up to the shoulder, and they go out to dinner. And at one moment, most of the time, the joke is kind of overplayed. Like when he runs away, he runs sideways.
My husband laughed at that and divorce.
Yeah, right. But at one point, they're having this candlelit dinner, and it cuts to their hands, and her hand is on his claw, and she's rubbing butter on his claw. And that's the moment. That's the moment that I wanted this entire film to be constructed with. And there was one of those moments. It's the steamy crab bay seasoning butter.
I point out a couple of other laughs, but you have to listen to Mandemic Mondays.
Okay.
Dropping this Monday to hear where the other laughs are.
I'll put a link in the show notes. Worth it.
Wow.
Very funny. All right.
See, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum because the one thing that I remember watching is a film from the late 70s called Stalker, which has been on my list forever. And it is the ultimate philosophical, theological dive into the deep end. What is the meaning of life movie? So yeah, I think I would have gone into culture shock and my head would have exploded if I had watched Thunder Force anytime within a few days of that experience.
I don't know, Steve. It fits right in. They make an Urkel joke. Don't you think that fits right? No? Well,
that's another.
Our tastes clearly vary.
No. Now, you did hear about Urkel in the news, right?
No. What happened to Urkel?
Oh, well, he's launching because of, the, I don't want to say trend. I don't want to say fad. I guess the wave of greening that's going across this country with the legalization of marijuana. I guess he's launching his own Purple Urkel brand of marijuana.
Oh, I wonder if John Boehner is a supporter.
So buying your own liquor company was like 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. So now with Seth Rogen, everybody this is the new fad. Yes, for 2021. That's what everyone needs. We need to talk about trailers, but I have a question for the two of you, because way back in the day, occasionally things would happen with trailers and there would be an accidental theme among the 3 films that we picked as a trailer. And I didn't know if you two noticed an accidental theme. I actually noted 2 in the 3 films that were picked for our trailer picks this week.
I can't wait to hear what you pull out of this.
I know.
With the 3 of them, I think I see one with mine and yours.
Okay.
But I struggle on how you're fitting Mandys in. This will be good.
Okay. Well,
I agree with Pete.
Why don't you start us off, Pete, and tell us what you have brought this week?
I can't believe I'm going first. I was once again, a little bit unprepared. I'm picking this because it was sensory overload. Like, I knew I was picking this trailer before I knew what it was called. Like, I just had to pick this trailer. I think it really is. It's one of those things that holds up a mirror to of unity for me, of how I feel about social media more often than not today. It is called Mainstream, from writer-director Gia Coppola, who she wrote it with Tom Stewart, stars Maya Hawke, Andrew Garfield, Kalina Yowaki. And it is the story of people who are really struggling with their identities as they move through lives and careers. And it is all just sort of a tale of the internet age.
Who am I? What do you want to do with your life, Frankie?
I don't know.
All right, what kind of stuff you want to make? I think you got potential. I want to make a next picture.
Really?
Yeah.
What, now?
Yeah, right now. Yo, what's up? Thanks for checking out this video.
My little niece worships these guys who do and say nothing.
Yo, why is my existence so lit?
And promote a lifestyle of doing and saying nothing.
Hashtag swimming pool, hashtag cocktail, hashtag this pineapple life. You can't be following me. Like, I'm no one special, man.
Holy.
You've got talent. Do you want to be the guys that made 2 cool videos? Or do you want to be no one special?
This is the beginning.
People came.
Oh my God! This is all that matters. We're all here.
It's crazy how good this is, huh?
I'm no one special.
Cut. That was great.
It reminds me a lot of Network, right? It is that story of the crushing pressure of media, of attention. And it is now told through the lens of YouTube video makers, like stunt video makers. And I don't know how it ends, but because of my love for Network, I have a hunch. This feels like it is of a piece. I'll tell you, Andrew Garfield looks great. I think the trailer, in fact, was cut really astutely, that we open with that close-up on his face and we close with that close-up on his face, and they give us that little just jelly bean of a twist at the end, even of the trailer, which I thought was a really provocative way to put this thing together. The performances look great. It's bright and noisy and loud, and I think it stands a chance at telling potentially a pretty powerful story. What do you guys think?
I did not get the same vibe from it that you did. I got it was a commentary on social media and how lost this generation is, that they're just fighting for attention through likes and comments, and I didn't get the Network vibe necessarily from it. And living in a house with a 10-year-old, I hear these D-bags, coming from his bedroom, and they're just playing games and brah, 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 and dude, and I that's what I got from Andrew Garfield's character, is that he's what are these kids? Logan Paul and Luke Paul, he's one of them. And it's almost like a joke on America that, they have no soul. That's what I took from the trailer. I was riveted by the trailer and very interested to see the movie, and loved the book ending of that close-up shot. I'm all in on this.
I am too. And I saw something different in this as well.
A third perspective?
Well,
tell. Mainstream for the win.
It's how this trailer gets edited together and what clips they're using and all of that. And at one point, and again, I have no context for this line of, that's said where, do you know who he is? And I'm looking at this and a lot of the imagery, and I'm like, is somebody trying to do a modern day Faust? Is he the devil here to distract a generation into a meaningless life? His character's name is Link, which I think is, the link that pulls people together, that connects them all. I don't know. Seeing that it's got 5.3 stars, I doubt it's that ambitious. Or people, somebody root beered their Coke, right? And this is a smarter film and people want something dumb. I don't know. It's only 163 ratings in there right now. So I love the look of this. It looks really frenetic, bright colors, fun. I'm excited to see this. This is one I love to pull into Trailer Rewind, dig into this with JJ and whoever else wants to be part of it, because this looks like a lot of fun.
Count me in.
All right.
Yeah, I think so too. I was going to drop the 5.3 out of 10. It is below the 6-star rating, so it could be questionable. But again, 163 just could be a lot of moms who don't understand it, right? A lot of the crew moms who aren't, because nobody's seen it yet. So
exactly.
So let's just see. I haven't seen Gia Coppola's other films. Palo Alto, 2013, Somewhere, 2010. Any of those ring a bell to either of you?
Palo Alto was quite controversial, I remember, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. It was the
James Franco, right?
Soccer sex thing, right? He was the soccer coach, I think, or something like that. I did not see it, but it was probably based on a controversial book. But
hey, don't go there yet.
I can't even. Okay.
No, you can't.
So the movie, I was gonna say when it comes out, and I don't actually have it. Did you happen to see when it comes out? I don't see it on the new IMDb. It's all. I have. Who knows?
It releases May 7th, 2021.
May 7th. Thank you, Steve. May 7th. So
yes.
There you go.
All right, Mandy, what have you brought? And let me know if you think what our connection may be, if you have a clue.
I do not see one so far.
Okay.
So my trailer, which releases May 11th, I never know that information, so I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah.
Stars Ed Helms, whom I adore, and a young lady whom I've never heard of named Patty Harrison. And it is called Together, Together, written and directed by Nicole Beckwith. And it is the story of a single man in his 40s who decides he would like to be a father and hires a surrogate, played by Patty Harrison. And they develop a connection and a relationship, and it looks very slice of life. My favorite kind of movie. I hope I'm not a broken record, where everybody has the best of intentions, but everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. People end up hurting other people, but in the end, you can find the good at the core of everybody. That's what this movie looks like to me.
Sorry, I am a little nervous. I've thought a lot more about being a dad than I've thought about making conversation with the person carrying my baby.
Right. Well, I'm nervous too.
To my sperm, to the donor's egg, and to your uterus. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mom, Dad, have some exciting news. I'm pregnant. I mean, the surrogate is pregnant.
I'm not going to tell anybody.
I'm Matt.
I just don't have anyone that I really need to share the news with.
Does that bother you, Matt?
Hey, sorry.
Hey, man. Bryce.
So did you guys just do it, or?
Matt!
Oh, who is this guy? You can't do that.
Says who?
Are you like her uncle or something?
No, I'm not her uncle. I'm the father.
Oh my God, you're her father?
No, I'm not her dad.
What do you think?
It is more than fine to have sex when you're pregnant.
But like my baby is in there absorbing ejaculate.
I use protection. Why are you doing this alone?
Because I am alone. I'm in this chapter of my life that feels like it should be over, but it's not. It's just on a loop. It's weird to be perceived as hopeless in this moment when I'm actually incredibly hopeful. Why are you alone?
I don't think being alone is a bad thing. So are you gonna have the baby shower?
I just want to say thank you for doing this with me, and I also apologize for everyone I know.
Is that what this is like? Like donating an organ?
I don't know. I've never donated an organ before. We should have better boundaries. Are we friends?
Aren't we?
I think that if we are, in order for this to work, we shouldn't be.
This is one that I watched the trailer and I thought, is this one I'm going to enjoy watching? But 3 years down the road, I'll be thinking, what was that Ed Helms thing with the lady? And there was a baby thing. I don't know how much this is going to stick with me. I love this type of story, character, heartwarming, interesting dynamic. You know, the relationship of this sort of professional relationship, and can they be friends? What does that mean? It all comes down to the execution, because I've seen so many movies that want to do something like this and just fall short of it. And so I'm cautiously optimistic about this one, because I do love Ed Helms, and I do not know who Patty Harrison is, but from what I see in the trailer, I love the dynamic and chemistry that I see between them.
And there was a hint that perhaps there's something romantic going on, which would just ruin it all for me. If it turns into a rom-com, I'm burning it to the ground. But there's a great supporting cast: Tig Notaro and Fred Melamed and Nora Dunn. It's just like a lot of fun faces and funny people.
Yeah.
Patty Harrison has done, it's funny, you know, start looking up and all of a sudden everything she's done sort of comes back. She was the tail chief in Ryan the Last Dragon. She has a great voice for this stuff. And she was in A Simple Favor, not a huge role in A Simple Favor, I don't believe, but that's starting to ring a bell.
Best movie ever.
Yeah, right. And so I think she looks great. I love the perspective of this thing. I love his little speech of just like when he goes into, I'm just at a place in my life where, you know, and he starts talking about, you know, this might be, you know, second best airplane movie ever for middle-aged dudes. This has a potential to hit me in the feels, and I will say, it also is 7.1 or something on the IMDb 6-star
So
scale.
I'm winning.
So you are winning, and that's only 106 people so far, but that is very promising. Starting above 6 that's where we want to be.
Well,
I still don't get your theme.
Nor
you
do
don't
I.
get my theme. Let me get to the one that is throwing you off, Pete, because it is a bit of a twist. Pete,
Okay.
what was your movie called?
Mainstream.
Okay, and Mandy, what was your movie called?
Together.
And mine is called Flashback. Okay, so Pete's like, oh, okay, it's one word. Yes, even though Mandy's has it twice, it's still one word in the title.
Was that the theme?
That's one of them.
That's okay. That's one of them. I'm going to give that to you because that's quintessentially Steve.
Okay. All right. So let me tell you a little bit about Flashback. Written and directed by Christopher McBride. Pete, who wrote and directed your movie?
Oh.
Mandy, who wrote and directed? Yes. Writer-directors.
Okay. Writer-directors.
Okay.
There we go. Also, mine wins because it's 7.2 out of 10 stars with 180 reviews.
Oh.
Releases June 4th.
Steve, that was a real personality Sudoku you put us through there. That's rough.
So Flashback, I don't know what this movie's about. It's this mind twister, mind bender thing. If JJ sees this, he's like, dude, we're going to do this on the trailer. We have to do this. So in his zone, because I'm starting to question halfway through what's going on, because we have a story of a man, who is having a memory or recollection of somebody from high school. And he asks his friends, and like, yeah, we haven't thought about her in 15 years. And suddenly we're having flashbacks to something that happened when they were in high school with a mysterious drug that was going around, and bad things happened. And it appears that he's now losing his mind and moving between different lives or memories, and what's real and what's not real. I have no idea.
A lot of faces are changing into other faces.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. And it's got Dylan O'Brien. So I know Mandy will be all hot to trot for this one with her affectations for young men. Pete.
Oh, no context. We're just going to throw that out there.
We're just going to be out there. That's a real podcast grenade.
If people would listen to Mandemic Mondays, if they would listen to the Mandemic Mondays, they would know what's going on.
That's right.
Okay.
There we are.
I didn't know any of the actors in this one.
You don't know Dylan O'Brien? He was in all the Maze Runner,
Teen Wolf?
Maze Runner movies. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
he's whole new fields to plunder.
Yes, plunder. Is that the right word, Pete? I don't think you want to do that.
That's just hot off the dome, Steve. Sometimes words just come out of my mouth holes.
So, but this is a movie I love. I have a feeling I will probably be disappointed because it's such a build-up that they have to resolve it, and it's never going to be as innovative or fulfilling as I want it to be, because it's gonna have to boil down to something simple and easily digestible.
It was all a dream, and he's gonna wake up and
God,
yes, or something like that. But I will love going on the ride with this one for 1 hour and 37 minutes when it releases on June 4th.
It's a 7.2. That's promising.
My movie's only 90 minutes, so I win again.
Okay, we've got short movies with relatively high ratings with under 200 people rating them. We will see where things fall out.
Go a lot of different ways.
It was hard to find this one in IMDb because there are about 1,000 movies titled Flashback. I am happy they went with Flashback as opposed to the original title, which was The Education of Frederick Fitzel.
Oh yeah, this was better.
Yeah, it tells you what it's about. Yes.
Does it?
Or not at all?
Really?
I don't know.
I don't want to be like them. Locked in a prison that they forgot that they're in.
What prison?
The F's.
I am sensing a lack of focus.
You didn't keep in touch with Cindy at all after graduation?
She hasn't even crossed my mind in 15 years.
I do remember Cindy Williams. She just vanished. That was the time when that awful drug went round the school.
Can't shake the feeling.
Something bad happened to her.
One night, we were all in Merc.
What does it do to you?
We gotta go back. We gotta try to remember what happened to her that night.
It's another one that dazzled me with flashing lights and epileptic triggers. It was, you're thinking, oh, is this like Limit? Is it like what's it doing with the little fancy pill? Like, what are we doing?
Right.
Is it just another rave thing? Like, what's going on? The whole idea of people like losing time and then jumping into different worlds. It was the very end. When he is screaming, he's being, taken by authorities of some sort, and he's screaming, I'm not even here. I'm not even here.
Right. Yeah.
I had this feeling wash over me of pity for him. That was the first time I was feeling sorry for him, that maybe it's really on the nose. And this is actually a story of addiction, and he is just, he's a lost soul. And I was kind of let down by that feeling. Like, I don't want to have that feeling. I want it to be twisty. I really want there to be multiple universes. Bring the multiple universes. Make it a string theory movie. I just want something wacky. And if it's an on the nose kind of heart searching drug addiction movie, I'm not in for it. I
was not real won over by it. And then with the whole, do I take the pill? Do I not take the pill? I was reminded of The Matrix, and it just felt like it's not my jam. I would much rather watch somebody, an unreliable narrator who's addicted, and what do we believe and what do we not believe? That's more intriguing to me than, there really are alternate realities. But that's because I have no soul, as we've determined.
Do we want to go on the record here with what we think the ending of the movie will be?
That's hard. On the record, really? The stakes are so high.
It's out there in the, out in the
He's
internet.
He's been dead the whole time.
That's what you think?
Oh, he's dead the whole time. Okay. I think he's being hospitalized. I think he's really broken.
I think he's in high school. They've taken this weird drug, and he's having
flash
forwards of
that's the twist.
If I do this in my life, I'm going to end up here, and I don't want to be this miserable,
little
cubicle monkey,
doors.
this type of thing.
I respect that.
We'll see in June who's right.
Well, you'll see, and you'll tell me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see, and then I'll tell you. Okay, we'll check back in. Okay, if we're done with trailers, you know what that means. It's fun time.
Games.
It's time for Misquoted. The game with the words that don't make sense the way you think they should make sense. So Mandy's a pro at this one. She's our returning champion. To Misquoted. So there are two parts to this. I changed up the second part. I'll explain that when we get there. But first part is we've taken famous movie quotes. We've run them through Google Translate, sometimes with a little bit of tweaking, because there's some words that will just give it away. So a little thesaurus helps sometimes to nudge things. And you just have to name the movie and correct the quote.
Okay.
Simple, easy to understand.
Can't wait.
Yeah, okay. I listened to this happen the last time, and I was butchered. So
I loved it.
Well, at least I don't make you do them in different voices. Okay. All right. So Pete, as our new contestant, you get the privilege of going first.
Oh, that is such a privilege. All right, bring it on. Bring the ring.
I'm going to throw the softball up to you here on this one. All right. I am being sovereign, the sphere.
I am being sovereign, the sphere. I am king of the world from Titanic.
All right, Pete.
Okay.
Right out of the gate.
One.
I get it.
Okay. All right, Mandy, we're easing in. We're easing in. All right. This one's, I think easy. We'll ramp it up. But, mothers often say living is like a confection distribution.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
It's actually my mama always said life was like a box of chocolates.
You leave my mama out of this.
Okay. All right. Pete.
Okay.
You need a big ship.
Oh, no. Jaws.
Yes.
We're going to need a bigger boat.
Yes.
But that's not the exact line, right?
It's you're going to need a bigger boat.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
A bigger boat. Yes. All right. Mandy?
Yes.
I will not weep in baseball.
There's no crying in baseball.
That's right.
There's no crying in baseball.
No. That was too easy.
Oh, Pete, come on. If you do it and they will
all
come.
The Tom Hanks.
Pete, if you do it and they will come.
If you build it, they will come.
If you build it, He will come.
Oh,
come on, movie.
Yeah, it's that was starring old 2x4, and
yes,
I'm not into the Field of Dreams as much as others.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. Shock and awe.
All right, here we go. So, Mandy.
Yeah.
Come with your friends closer than your enemy.
Come with your friends closer. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer?
Yes, from...
Isn't that just like is Winston Churchill? Like, who said that? That's like a famous thing.
Sun Tzu?
Who? Don Corleone. I don't know.
That's the name of the movie?
Oh, Godfather, I'm saying.
Yes, there you are.
Is?
Yes, it is.
I just made that up.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Pete, they can take my life, but they will not be free.
But it's the Kilt movie. Captain Racist in the Kilt movie. It was, come on. You can take my life, but you cannot take my, what? Dignity? Cannot take my freedom? What is he not taking? What was it again? Say it again.
They can take my life, but they will not be free.
Yeah, but you cannot take my freedom. I'm going to go with freedom.
Okay.
And that's Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
And he was in the Kilt movie.
Mandy, do you know the Kilt movie?
AKA Braveheart?
Braveheart.
Yes.
Oh, God. I honestly
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom.
Okay. I got to tell you, I don't think I ever would have gotten there, Braveheart.
No?
That's like, it's totally new to me right now.
Okay. Mandy?
Yeah.
Infinite Unlimited.
To infinity and beyond. Toy Story.
Yes. All right.
Okay, that's great.
You are giving me softballs, which I'm grateful for.
Pete, parkways where we don't need leads to.
That is clearly Yoda in Back to the Future saying roads where we're going, we don't need roads.
Okay. Mandy?
Yes.
Get your stinky legs from me, the dirty monkey refused.
You get your damn hands off me, you dirty ape. Get your dirty paws and your hands and your dirty, and it's Planet of the Apes.
Yes. Okay.
It's so dirty.
The dirty monkey refused. All right. So I did a little digging, and I wanted to personalize a couple of these a little bit. So
Under the Cherry Moon, Prince.
Thought about it, but no. Mandy.
Yes.
I'm trying to get in your wheelhouse here. Tell me. I don't know how memorable this quote is.
Okay.
But based on things you said, you should know there is no other motto because you are poetry.
There is no other motto because you are poetry. I should know. Is it Sandra Bullock?
Yes.
Oh, no.
And it's a movie you said, if it's ever on, you just have to watch it.
Oh, 28 Days.
Yeah? Do you know the line?
No.
Don't be someone else's slogan because you are poetry.
Oh, now
that's
cry,
sweet.
Steve.
Yeah.
Way to go, Steve.
Yeah.
Solid writing. But I didn't know it.
Okay.
Pete?
Let's do it.
I can't stand it for you, but I'll take you.
I can't stand it for you, but I'll take you.
Take you. Yeah.
It feels a lot like I can show you the door, I can't walk through it from The Matrix.
But it's not.
Okay, I can't stand it for you.
I can't stand it for you, but I'll take you.
Oh, that was even in character. Can't stand it for you, but I'll take you, he says.
Smoke and fire.
Oh, I can't care. It's the Lord of the Rings. It's the Return of the King.
Yes.
And it's our man, Sam Gamgee.
Yeah.
And he's talking to Frodo, and the exact line. It's right before he does the backdraft fireman's carry of his buddy.
Yes.
It's the craziest thing that could happen. I can't carry it. I can't carry it for you, Master Frodo, but I can carry you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he
yes.
lugs him across the volcanic ash and into Mount Doom.
What the people can't see is that Pete had one single tear as he said the line. It was beautiful.
What the people can't see is Mandy's been crying since the 28 days crack.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It'll be
All right.
someone's slogan.
Yeah, but okay, Mandy.
Master Frodo.
Just you remember. Hey, it's not a beauty base, the scholarship arrangement.
It is not a beauty pageant. It's a scholarship program said by Candace Bergen as Kathy Morningstar in Miss Congeniality.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes.
Nailed that one.
Hard.
Right.
You guys, I wasn't here for like the last 30 seconds. What happened?
Pete?
Hi.
Did you run or pull? Did you run or pull?
Okay, the only thing I can think of right now is, are you shooting from Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man?
Did you run or pull?
Did you run or pull?
Did you run or pull?
How would Google Translate mess that up? That's got to be the line, right?
No, it's not. No.
Did you run?
I think Latin may have thrown something off a little bit here. Yes.
It always does.
Latin.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always the dead. There's a reason it's a dead language.
Did you run or pull? I could say, were you running or were you pulling?
I can't even get it in my head.
No?
There's percussions?
Is it from Not My Tempo?
Were you rushing or were you dragging? Were you rushing or were you dragging? Did you run or pull? Not my tempo.
I get it. Oh, man. There's that J.K. Simmons.
Yes, exactly.
It's
yes.
Well done. Man,
Okay.
that I did not see that coming at all.
No. All right.
But
So
can I
for
get just a special bonus prize for bringing up Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man?
No, you can't.
No.
Why would you do that?
I bring up crap all the time. I don't get special prizes.
Somebody's keeping score. Somebody's keeping score.
So the other side of Misquoted is sometimes when movies have to get moved from the theater to TV, there are lines of dialogue that have to be changed because they're not appropriate to be aired.
Yeah.
So I tried to find some that I think are perhaps out of context enough that it may be challenging. And I want to give you an example. And this is not the actual change, but for our audience listeners out there that may not be familiar with these, for example, you might have somebody running around in a building around Christmas time saying, "Yahoo, you jerk!"
Mm-hmm.
Instead of
yippee-ki-yay, mother
truckers.
Yes, exactly. Yes. All right. So I'm going to go with one of the most infamous ones, I think, at least in my book. And it's the longest one. And I may have talked about this on the show before. I don't know. So whoever wants to shout out first, if you can tell me what movie had a line of dialogue changed to be, "Do you see what happens, Larry? This is what happens, Larry. This is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps."
Mandy,
is it
it's all
supposed
you.
to be when you bleep a stranger in the rear?
Yes.
But I don't know what it's from.
John Goodman beating the tar out of a Corvette parked out on the street in The Big Lebowski.
The Big Lebowski. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's going to be.
Yeah.
I think
right.
that may be something Mandy and I agree on, judging by the way she dismissed it.
I've seen it. I bet it's not my
right,
yeah,
all right.
no, but that's all you need.
All right.
You don't need to think about it.
Find a stranger in the Alps is funny.
Yeah,
though.
that's right. So, did you slip her the hot, wild affection?
Oh, hot beef
Injection.
and it's Breakfast Club. Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Pardon my French, but you're an aardvark.
You're an a-hole, right? Pardon my French, but you're an a-hole.
Yes.
And it's from this is I feel like I'm letting down podcasts everywhere. What is it from?
Bueller.
Oh yeah. My French, you're an a-hole. Yeah. With your back, you should be throwing in one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Is this Edward Rooney?
Rooney? 9 times. That's right.
9.
All right, Pete, you probably have an advantage on this one. I will just say, this town's just a great big chicken waiting to get plucked.
Well, plucked.
Yeah.
But is chicken anything? Is it just this town's a great big chicken waiting to get...
What kind of movies do you think people are making? No.
I don't know, man. I don't know. This whole part of the game has been a real trip down mainstream for me.
Let me just say.
Is it a snuff film?
No, it is not a snuff film. No, it's not a snuff film, but it's one that Pete just talked about on the show within the past month or so.
I did?
Yes. Come on, where you got somebody coming into the city of Miami? This town's just a great big chicken waiting to get plucked.
I don't know. Born on the 4th of July?
How about Scarface? How about Scarface?
That was a long time ago. You're right.
Yes.
Yep, that's totally it. That's exactly it. Nope, should have gotten that one. That was awful.
It's not a chicken. It's a part of somebody's anatomy.
Yep.
Yeah, we go. All right. And the last one, probably one of the most ridiculous. Your mother sews socks that smell.
Your mother
sews socks that smell.
That's like an actor warm-up. She sells seashells. Your mother sews socks that smell.
Mm-hmm. All right. If I get into character, I would be like, your mother sews socks that smell.
So it's Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Is it The Exorcist?
Yes.
Oh, totally. Oh, that's awful. That's awful.
That's misquoted. That's right.
Misquoted.
Yes.
You and character really helped.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be cutting that in everywhere.
I don't know that I can do more of these because there's not a lot of, famous lines from movies that everybody recognizes. I mean, I can't do anything with what's in the box.
What's in the box?
Right.
It's like, can you guesstimate what is inside this cubicle container? No, it's not going to work. So,
hey, sometimes you got to know when it's time to hang it up, Steve.
It
may come up with a new game.
We will see after your mother sews socks that smell. All right. Well, that brings us to our list. Yeah, we threw a list at somebody and they threw something back at us, right? So we gave them, what did they have to do? I don't even remember what they did. They had to do something easy. They gave us, based on a controversial book, because what you guys just did.
Oh, wait, did they get to do movie titles with?
They did. And I have to tell you, Tommy was particularly surly about the whole thing. There was very much a discussion about what grammatically means a sentence. Yes. That was hard to listen to.
We need to talk about Tommy.
Man, I'm Tommy.
Meanwhile, did anyone choose we need to talk about Kevin? Because that is the full title.
They did talk about that.
I think Tommy did, but I was listening. I had to scream at him through the podcast, which he didn't hear because he said, "Oh yeah, starring Kate Blanchett." And I'm like, "No, it's Tilda Swinton, Tommy. Tilda Swinton, Tommy."
Oh, shit on him.
Because I only know that because I just watched it a couple weeks ago and
good.
took a couple days to recover. That was was rough. But we get something much more, literary because of American Psycho. We were looking at movies that are based on a controversial book. And I guess controversial is open to interpretation. I don't know.
What did you do for controversial? What was controversial for you, Steve?
I applied a couple rules to myself and I ended up with, had to be a book that I read and a movie that I saw. So I had that as I looked through the list because I wanted to narrow it down. But I went with, sort of a go-to of like books that have been banned or pulled from libraries, shelves, things like that. Because to me, that's controversial enough that there's a group that feels like people should not be reading this.
Right.
So I went to that, and it was an easy place to find a list, and then just working my way through to say, has it been made into a movie? Oh yes, it was, and I read it and I saw it. Okay, I've got enough to work with here because controversial is kind of open. So that's the approach I took. But it sounds like you guys may have gone different directions with this.
Well, I have not seen any of them. I've not read or seen any of the ones I did.
Okay. And how did you approach controversial?
I think you're going to find out.
Okay.
Okay.
Right?
So I get to go first, and I'm pretty excited about it because I think I'm picking one that's probably a steal from Steve. And anytime I can steal from Steve, again, that's another thing that makes my heart swell.
Okay.
The protagonist, the film is a film that was made in 1972, the year of our Lord 1972, by the good George Roy Hill. The book is by one Kurt Vonnegut Jr., and the protagonist is both a great name and was taken to be the name of a fantastic band duo, Billy Pilgrim. The book, of course, I'm talking about is Slaughterhouse 5.
You mean Schlachthaus 5?
I do mean that, Steve, you big nerd. Of course I do. Of course I mean that.
Stuff you in a locker, Steve. Jeez.
And the book was banned for all kinds of crazy things. Nobody liked anybody talking about it because it's a World War II soldier and he's bouncing around through time and getting in all kinds of sexual trouble profanely. Yes. And those things are things that made schools ban this book all over the place. I just reread the book fairly recently in the last year and remember how great Kurt Vonnegut is to read. Yes. But it's been many years since I've seen the movie. But I remember the experience fondly, maybe because of the book. I don't know.
No, not necessarily. It's right there.
It was on the bubble.
It was on the bubble. Right. So I had a feeling. I had a feeling. We'll see. We'll see if there's some others.
All right.
All right, Mandy.
I think my list is going to be very different.
Okay.
I bounced off of American Psycho, Bret Easton Ellis, and I did Less Than Zero. I'm not sure if that book was all that controversial, but I recently watched the movie as much of it as I could stand. It is not a good movie.
Yeah.
And it is uncomfortable, particularly because Robert Downey Jr., we know he followed that path right after this.
Yes.
And then all the over-sexualizing and over-drugalizing, it's a word, of these youth were so uncomfortable to me. Maybe it's because I'm a mom. I never saw it when I was a teenager. So I never read the book, but it seemed like a controversial movie and book and icky, and that's my first choice.
It is definitely on the list of most challenged books in the United States for sure.
Okay.
So it's rough.
I'm going to pat myself on the shoulder.
Yeah, no, nicely done.
There you go.
Nicely done. All right, Steve.
So I went with something that features sex,
spousal
rape, incestuous rape, spousal abuse, and homosexuality, brought to you by Steven Spielberg. The Color Purple.
That's a steal.
My favorite book of all time.
It's an amazing book. Back when I was teaching high school, I did for my seniors, I said, here's a list of banned books. You're going to read it, and then your final exam is writing a letter to a library convincing them that it should not be banned. And a lot of kids had seen the movie, read the book, and went, "Oh my gosh, there's so much more to this book." Yes,
I cut school to finish the book. It was assigned in school, and I started it and then I stayed up all night reading it and pretended to be sick so I could finish it. It is my favorite book of all time.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That's crazy.
And a beautiful adaptation, which never happens, right?
Right.
Yeah. I have to do, easily one of my top 5 favorite films ever, and it's the introduction of the good Tyler Durden. I'm talking about Fight Club. And this was this Chuck Palahniuk's first big book? I mean, I think he's written so much, but I think this was his first book.
It's the one that I think got him the most attention. He may have been sort of lingering in literary circles, but this was one that really, I think, aided by the film. But there was so much talk about this book.
Yeah, this is one that breaks all the rules because we've done it on the show, and so we, technically should pick something new. But it is just it's too much. One of my favorite movies, just too much, and it was banned in the state of Texas. School districts across Texas banned it for a time. I don't know if that's still the case, if you still can't find it, or if, like American Psycho in Australia, you have to buy it in shrink wrap. So, it was controversial for the violence for sure. And there are lots of other issues you might have with the reading of that book, but I find it an exceptional read and watch. Fight Club.
I'm embarrassed by my next pick, but it really, I think, checks the boxes, but I've never read it, nor have I seen it.
Okay.
Because all I know of this movie is that the leading lady bites her lower lip a lot. And I have selected 50 Shades of Grey. And Dakota Johnson is a bottom lip biter. And it pisses me off. So I've never read it, never watched it. But this book was quite like what's going on with all the housewives reading this book? So I thought that was controversial.
What is going on with the housewives reading that book?
I don't know.
It's not. It wasn't really a school reading kind of candidate.
I didn't know that was school part of the equation?
Not at all. Not at all. But it's just when you talk about band, like that's usually where it means. Usually, but don't let kids read it.
Right.
So my brother.
I let my kid read 50 Shades.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Oh yeah, when he was like 6.
Well,
chapter books. Right. When you introduce chapter books. Yeah.
Yeah. So my brother used to work at the last bookstore in LA, and when this became a big thing, he was like, "What is the big deal?" He picks a copy off the shelf, starts flipping through it, and is like, "I can't believe that we have this out on shelves where kids can just walk by and pick this up and start reading this."
Oh.
Really?
Yes. He's like, this needs to be in the back room. This should not be out here where, kids just browsing. Like,
wow.
So.
All right. Note to self. Pick up 50 Shades.
50 Shades.
All right.
Change the name.
I wonder if I can get it on Audible.
Mandy, maybe if you go through and you change the name to Jason Bateman throughout, that might be
a way to stomach it.
That might be a way in on that one for you.
Okay. He's a bit old for me.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's probably a 20-year-old that would do the trick back. Well, I'll think about it.
All right.
I've got a lot of free time.
Save us, please.
Yes. Okay. All right. So, controversial book introduced to me by a student back in 1999. And he said, I have not read a book that really speaks to me as like a teenager, like authentically. He said, sort of like John Hughes, just this writer really gets kids and all the strife and trouble of what it's like being a teenager. And the format of the book is a teenager sending letters to an anonymous friend where he vividly describes his experience with sex abuse and drugs and homosexual experiences, and it's often removed from libraries. And it is very rare that I think you see when a novelist gets to actually adapt and bring his book to film, such as is the case with The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
I can't believe it's a second steal, Steve. Well done. This is one that I saw. I saw the movie, which was fantastic, then just had to devour the book. And it is one of those where, who is it? Stephen? I can't ever. It's like so many
Chbosky.
Yes. Just a lot of letters in there, and where they're just different experiences and both incredibly powerful. Like they really take you back to those just awful feelings. Definitely didn't sell it in the trailer what the book was or what the movie was. No. But really, that was great stuff. Woof. And double steal day, Steve.
Woo! All right, I'm going to go 3 for 3 next time around. We'll see what happens.
I don't know,
all right,
man.
I love it.
I don't know. Right. I got the rest of them are just like what you just what you'd expect. It's all the ones. All right, I'll do the other one that I just read again when we did that ridiculous Gunkata movie. So
Guns Akimbo? No. Oh, Equilibrium?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that was a mashup of the great George Orwell classic 1949 book, 1984, and the 1985 adaptation was challenged all over the place.
Yes.
And it is about a totalitarian regime, authoritarian state. And it's just one of those that's delightfully ironic that it is, it's one of those ironic censorship opportunities. So 1984, both are fantastic and challenging experiences, but both very, very good.
All right. Well, I needed my mom to suggest my last one. And
Mandy's mom's
listeners know she's good.
Yes, she's really good.
She's good. And this was her answer. And it's a bit creepy that my mom immediately said, "Oh, everything you always wanted to know about sex, but were afraid to ask."
And that is now more controversial today than it's ever been.
We don't have to go down that Woody Allen road.
Not far.
But I thought that was a great answer because I certainly, it was before my time and I didn't know about the book or really the movie. I saw it probably too young, but yeah.
I remembered so little of that movie. I only saw it. I saw it with my parents. They thought they were being a hoot introducing me to that movie when I was, again, probably too young. And the only thing I remember is the sperm loading bay sequence with their little white helmets. And that was just like, I found that hysterical. I could not. I was like, oh, it's a playground conversation. You got to see the sperm movie. Yeah, I was a real treat. All right, Steve, what else did you steal from my list of wonders?
Okay, let's see. I'll just dive into the story of a man who marries a woman for the purposes of starting a relationship with her 12-year-old daughter. Adapted by Stanley Kubrick. The story is Lolita.
Yes, that was my alternate.
And I will say, I will stick with this: the Peter Sellers Stanley Kubrick version, not the
Jeremy Irons.
Irons. That one just felt really icky. Oh. I don't know. Yeah,
they really leveled up the icky for sure. Yeah. That was tough. Well, I think between my 3 and the 2 that you just outright stole from me, that was all of my bonus picks. Do you guys have any bonus that are worth talking about?
No.
No, you had my Slaughterhouse 5 was the next one on my list.
I was surprised you didn't go down the Of Mice and Men road. I thought you were going to give me some Steinbeck.
I saw that and I was like, I don't know. I can see the things that are scandalous in the films. I think with Of Mice and Men, I mean, I've read it and everything. I'm like, I think that's just people clutching their pearls over stuff they don't.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So I said, yeah, that's if I think about American Psycho, because I remember when that book came out of just the, scandal and people like, this is perverse. This is wrong. All of these things. So I tried to stick with that. Yeah. And Of Mice and Men is just like, well, that makes us feel a little uncomfortable. We would prefer children not to read those things.
I think The Perks of Being a Wallflower is the most recent film adaptation on the list, right, from 2010. And that surprises me in this whole list, that I would have expected some newer movies. The only one that I had that crossed my path was Black Hawk Down, based on the Mark Bowden book. And that, obviously controversial for a whole new set of reasons that, we didn't cover. And I would just plug, you want to hear a great conversation about it. Mark Bowden was on the show when we did our coverage of Black Hawk Down, and or it was maybe it was the other book he did, but he was a great interview and worth talking about. So good list.
Okay, yeah, very good list. So now we got to spitefully construct a really twisted list for.
Yeah, so this was based on American Psycho, which means next. We're doing the third and final film in our Mary Harron series, which is The Notorious Betty Page.
Okay.
Have either of you seen Betty Page?
No.
It's fascinating. I did not know anything about Betty Page, really, apart from, before my time. And
did you ask your dad about the Betty Page?
I should have asked Dad about the Betty Page. I did not. But she, she was just a fascinating character. And I think you look at Gretchen Mall's performance. Gretchen Mall's performance, as it happens, is the reason to see this movie, if you want to see this movie. And, she tells a story of this woman who just wanted to perform and was having a good time. And all the people that she came across were happy and joyful. And suddenly she was a porn star, really. Like, she's doing bondage photo shoots, but everybody's so happy and just having a good time. And they're just playing games. And also now she's in Playboy. And it's like this sort of unintentional sort of celebrity that comes out of her just having a good time and going with the flow of things. And now she's and she becomes kind of the legendary first sort of real pinup star in modern kind of photographic media. So it's an interesting story. That's kind of where we start.
Boy, oh boy, can I relate.
So what do you think? We've got our usual seed topics that we might be able to talk about, unless you are inspired otherwise.
I, of course, am drawn to hairstyles that became pop culture icons. Please, oh, please put that on the list. I think I'm actually on the show next week, and I want to do that one.
Oh, outstanding. Okay. Hairstyles.
I think maybe I'm high.
That is one of those that I worry. I'm glad I'm not on the show next week, because I worry that could be just full of regret. It seems like a good idea. Yeah. The other options, wanting to act, ending up on the wrong side of performing, model movies, I guess. Mixing black and white and color. That is one of the things that Mary Harron does in this movie, is when the movie is predominantly in black and white, but when she escapes and goes to Miami, it's all in this beautiful, vibrant kind of Technicolor. It's quite lovely. Bondage in film. So break out your 50 Shades picks again. Finding Jesus and the Church. That happens. Biopics about people not in your normal lines of work. Okay. Yes, not in the normal lines of work. Or Senate hearings in film. Great Senate hearings in film.
Snoozer.
Honestly, that's the one I want to pick, but it has to be great Senate hearings in film. Not just any Senate hearing. Oh. I need a you can't handle the truth moment, which is court, I know, not Senate.
Senate, right.
Because we just did one of the greatest Senate hearings in film in the Marvel Movie Minute, which is Gary Shandling as the conservative senator. I privatize world peace.
I'm chuckling at the biopics about people not in normal lines of work, because I'm like, usually biopics are about people that are famous, and I don't know that that's a normal line of work anyway.
Right,
it's
that's
like
all biopics.
I'm like, how many people do you know that are like, I don't know, Nobel Prize winning scientists or famous jazz musicians? I'm like, oh yeah, I got 3 in my block right here. So I'm like, that's almost everybody.
Okay.
But I would say if we could do mixing black and white and color, no Wizard of Oz, because I think that's just the go-to. Just get that cleared off, and we just say, no, you can't do that.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be sepia?
Well, probably. All right.
No Wizard of Oz.
Yes, exactly. I think that's just, we can do that. It reminds me of, what podcast is that? There was a film podcast, and they would do lists, and they would have stuff that's in the pantheon, and they'd say, you just can't, because it's so obvious and it's classic, and we just put it there aside. Film Spotting. The Film Spotting guys would do that. Sure. Yes, exactly. So I'd say when you mix black and white and color, you can't include the Oz.
All right. I went ahead and picked great Senate hearings in film.
Yes.
I can't wait to see what comes of this list.
People, please do not vote for that one.
It's the... And I delight that I'm not on the show. Oh, yeah. It's you, Kyle, and Andy. Oh, he's going to...
okay.
At least he's there. He's going to have to own some of his selections here. This is going to be delightful.
People are probably wondering, they're like, well, how can I side with Mandy and make sure we don't have, the haircuts, or we don't have the Senate hearings? If you want to be Team Mandy and vote to support her and her pick, you need to vote in next week's list challenge. And you can do that by heading over to the Show Talk channel. Where is the Show Talk channel? It's not on my TV. It's not on a streaming service. No, it's in the Next Reel Discord community. You can lend your vote to the chaos that is list picking and movie sabotage each week. But again, how do you get to the Show Talk channel? You just head over to nextreel.com/membership and become a supporter of the Next Reel family of podcasts for just $1 a month. $1. That's less than renting a movie at Redbox. That's less than what you pay per day for coffee. It's just $1 a month. You can become a one-reeler and join our online community on our Discord server. If you don't know what Discord is, ask the kids, ask the weird neighbor kid. They'll tell you where the Discord is.
Yeah, ask the weird. We're hanging out with your weird neighbor kids.
That's
Maybe
right.
Maybe that's not the greatest
selling
selling point. Okay.
They're all on the Discord, which is about to be purchased by Microsoft or something like that, I believe. And for a few dollars more a month, you can become a two-reeler supporter and join us for show live streams as we record. Like right now, you could be watching this and know that the Sat Mat is not really a Sat Mat. It's a Thursday evening mat, and you could be watching it live if you're a two-reeler supporter.
Which makes my drinking okay.
It does, yes. You also get early access to shows in your very own personal podcast feed and access to the super, super secret member channels in Discord. And you can do this with a single annual donation at either level. And last, for those of you that love building your lists, like we make our lists here, you can get onto Letterboxd. That's Letterboxd. They are offering a discount to anyone listening to The Next Reel. Just head over to thenextreel.com/letterboxd, and you can upgrade your Letterboxd account to Pro or Patron with a 20% off discount. And if you already have a Pro or Patron account, this discount also applies to your renewals.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah. Great show.
Fun!
Thanks, Steve.
You did great, Steve. Happy week. Mandy, good to see you. Can't wait to listen again to the show I already edited Mondays, truestory.fm/mandemic, or anywhere you find your podcasts.
I can't wait.
Yay.
Because I have so much fun listening to the reviews on Mandemic Monday that I don't need to watch the movies because I get everything that I need to know about them from my Mandys.
It depends.
This week, for sure.
There are a few good movies that we've done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Well, thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Hondo.